Question number 1 on Bahay Kubo. How did you come to frame the song Bahay Kubo in your search for the meaning of the Filipino? What is the song telling us about our being Filipino? The song Bahay Kubo represents the widespread expansion of plants facilitated by maritime interaction that started thousands of years ago and intensified during the Spanish colonization of the Philippines. Among the 16 plants mentioned in the song, only upo, bawang, and labanos appear to be the only potentially local species. The rest of the plants mentioned in the song originated from the Americas, Africa, or mainland Asia. As such, the quintessential Philippine garden is a product of global connections that started more than 1,000 years ago. Transoceanic exchanges and mobility have been documented archaeologically and ethnographically. But most importantly, community stories and memory talk about foreign traders interacting with our ancestors. Philippine languages, for example, are filled with borrowed Indic, Tamil, Arabic, Persian, Chinese, Japanese, and other Asian terms. Of course, Spanish words are now considered part of our existence. What a lot of present-day Filipinos don't know, though, is that we have borrowed Nawa, the language of the Aztecs, terms, including nanay, for mother, tatay, for father, tiangge, outside or open-air market, and many more. So Filipino then is an outcome of recent history, of our recent experiences. However, our predilection for all things ancient gets us into the trap of romanticizing the past. Understanding our deep past is important, but it should not be the basis of our national pride. For instance, our archaeological tradition is still heavily invested in reconstructing pre-colonial societies. So much so that pseudo-nationalists appropriate the narrative to talk about authentic and original Filipino culture. The term Filipino was only used or initially used to refer to Spanish-born in the Philippines. It wasn't until the mid-1800s that intellectuals started to use the term, to co-opt the term, to refer to Indios, the local inhabitants of the islands, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Spanish, and many more other groups living in the country, in the Philippines, in the 1800s. Question number 2. How important should we put anthropology in our cultural appreciation? Anthropology provides us with the tools and knowledge to understand and appreciate human similarities across time and space. As an anthropological archaeologist, I look at the whole gamut of culture as represented in the archaeological record. These can address the inadequacies of dominant historical narratives that relegate indigenous peoples in the sidelines of history. So archaeology provides knowledge of the past to help us understand the present and will help us prepare for the future. And it will help create a more inclusive generation. Heritage. Learning about our history and heritage helps us understand how we became who we are. The knowledge of the past gives us perspectives to better prepare for the future. Thus, we should document our history so that we can accurately preserve the stories that have been told to us by our elders. Experiences and wisdom could be lost if they're not recorded properly. It is important that we see our heritage as a form of inheritance that we need to value. It is something that we should share with children, since their understanding of their heritage can contribute to character building and serve as foundation for a better future. Episode 2, Sarumbanggi. I was born in Cagliliog, Tinamba, Camarines Sur, but my memories of the place started much later. Actually, I grew up in the main town in Poblacion, in Tinambak, although I spent several years in Sorsogon. But growing up in Tinambak, especially during the time when there wasn't an electrical power yet, I remember snapshots of myself running around the town close to the beach without the power, where I'm able to see the ocean and the stars. So my memory of Bicol, that is especially my childhood, is associated with the beach, the stars, and no electrical power, and just playing with friends at night. It's also part of my childhood is the you know the dangers that lurk at night, especially when it's dark, and when the moon is out, we stay longer because it's especially full moon, and so we stay longer because there's more light outside. But when the power came in the early 1980s, we still play outside. We don't have televisions back then, but we are able to stay longer because of lights outside. Were Was I scared of the night? Again, yes. Because of stories of Aswang, stories of Encanto, but I appreciate that experience, especially now with gadgets and televisions, where kids don't have the same experiences that I had growing up. My memory of Sarong Banggi, the song, is about mostly as a kid growing up and being hearing the song when we're being put to sleep. I thought the song is more romantic. It's a song about love story, courtship, but it's more than that. It talks about freedom. It talks about birds. So there are symbolisms associated with the song. And the song is about ethnoastronomy, and learning about ethnoastronomy helps us understand our surroundings. For one, it helps us navigate the oceans, looking at the stars, helps us figure out directions when we're in the mountains. So ethnoastronomy is important in our lives before the advent of technology, because it provides us with directions. Ethnoastronomy also helps us with understanding the changing of the seasons, especially among farmers. It gives them an idea on when to irrigate, when to plant. So it's a local calendar. Astroastronomy or ethnoastronomy is an example of a local calendar. For fisher folks, tells them when to go out for a particular fish, or to catch a particular fish. So ethnoastronomy is important. It's also important on religious activities. Before the advent of Gregorian calendar, and local religions rely on the stars, the moon, the sun to regulate and schedule their activities on religious reasons.
Maraming salamat Dr. Stephen Acabado, at para sa iba pang pagtalakay tungkol sa ating episode, kasama sina Dr. Alan Derain at Professor Tito Valiente. Bisitahin ang aming YouTube channel